Hey guys, it's Ankit Kumar. Welcome to Tech Talks. Today we are discussing about how to become web developer in 2021. Since its beginning at the end of 20th century, internet has grown exponentially. In the modern world, a huge percentage of people uses internet and all kinds of websites every day. So it raises a question, what is website? A website is a collection of web pages and related content that is identified by a common domain name and published onto at least one server. This is the definition of website by Wikipedia. But among software engineers, it is considered as a website is a collection of publicly accessible, interlinked web pages that share a single domain name. Naturally, some people decided to learn and create them, means website. Therefore, what is a web developer is commonly asked question. Let's see what is web developer. Answer is a web developer is a person who is responsible for programming the code that tells a website how to function. In other terms, a web developer or a programmer is someone who takes a web design and turns into a website. A web developer builds a website from bottom up, which means designing it in such a way that end user have no difficulty in using the site. The website should not be so simple that it does not appeal to advanced user, nor should be so complicated that beginners is easily lost in the process. Web development is the most in-demand skill to have, and with the digital world growing rapidly, the demand for web developers has increased. If you are a beginner in the web development field, then this video is for you. It covers all skills and technologies required that will help you in your web development journey and provide complete roadmap on how to prepare for web developer role. To become web developer, we first need to understand how a website works or how website works over the internet. When we use a browser and enter a URL, we are actually using a domain name on the internet to reach a website that is hosted on a server. When we create a website, the objective is to publish it on the internet or web. We need to have a basic understanding how it works and how a request made from the browser and response sent from the server. Hosting a website has become very easy today. You can do it without having a domain name or setting up a server. Many free websites will host your website for free. For example, GitHub Pages, Netlify, etc. The process of website creation starts with the design and mockup where the appearance of the website is decided. The developers then start designing the interface, add functionality to it, and make website responsive. They then send it to another set of developers who handle server-side code and deploy it to the server. All the developers who does this can be divided into three categories: front-end developers, back-end developers, and full-stack developers. Front-end developers are responsible for user interface and designing of the website and make it responsive for all the devices. We can say someone who takes the design and writes the code needed to implement it on the web is called front-end developer. Backend developer, they handle the server-side code and deploy website on the server which handles the request and response. In other terms, they have to create the code and the program which powers the website servers, databases, and any application that it contains. There is third category of full-stack developer. They are developers who have both the front-end and back-end skills. Basically, they understand both front-end and back-end strategies and processes, which means that they are perfectly positioned to oversee the entire process of the website development. Let's understand a bit more about front-end developers. Front-end developers are responsible for how the website look. The basic skills required to learn for front-end developer are HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Nowadays, most users uses websites on their mobile. So when create a website, developers must also keep in mind how it looks on desktop and mobile devices. CSS media queries are used for this purpose with a mobile first design approach. Next step in the front-end development is mastering a framework. Once you have understood the concept of using frameworks, it makes it easy to create website quickly and user-friendly. With the frameworks, you don't have to code everything from scratch and can use various functionalities provided in the frameworks. Some popular frameworks are Bootstrap, Material CSS, and Tailwind. All this skill will help you to create static website, but to become industry ready, you need to learn how to create dynamic website and web applications. Advanced front-end developers uses frameworks such as React.js, AngularJS, or Vue.js to create dynamic and large-scale applications. I would suggest to learn any of these frameworks. A backend developer handles a lot of functionalities other than deploying the code on the server. When the applications involves dynamic functionalities like databases and authentication, where the backend engineers comes in. The role of backend developers involves designing and managing databases and connecting it with the server, adding authentication and handling requests from the clients, scalability and version control, and implementation of automated testing. Knowledge of SQL and NoSQL database like MySQL and MongoDB are important for backend development. There are a lot of technologies that can be used to learn backend development. Expertise in languages like Python, Java, .NET, and JavaScript and TypeScript is must. If you are a beginner in backend development, I would suggest getting started with Node.js as it is JavaScript framework, or Deno.js for server-side code. Other frameworks for backend development are Django, Flask, ASP.NET, J2EE, etc. Third category of web developer is full stack developer. A full stack developer is a combination of front-end developer and back-end developer. So we can say they work with both front and back-end of the website or application, meaning they can tackle projects that involve databases, building user-facing websites, or even work with the clients during the planning phase of the project. Full-stack developers are familiar with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and one or more backend languages. Most full-stack developers are expert in one of the backend programming languages such as Python, PHP, or Ruby. If you are Python expert, you would be called Python full-stack developer. If you are Ruby expert, then you will be called Ruby full-stack developer. If you know JavaScript and you are very good at JavaScript and you learn Node.js, then you can be called JavaScript full-stack developer. As the line between what can be done on front-end versus back-end increasingly blurs, more developers are becoming what we call full-stack. A lot of employers, especially agencies who work on different kind of sites, are looking for developers who know how to work on all the parts of website, means backend and front-end and deployment as well. Hence, the rise in the companies listing full-stack development on job requirement is high. Contrary to what a lot of people think, full stack does not necessarily mean a developer is writing all of the website's code themselves. Many full stack developers spend the majority of their time in either the front end or the back end of a website. But the point is that they know enough about the code across entire stack that they can dive in anywhere if needed. Some full stack developers code entire websites, including both front end and back end, but usually only if they are working freelance or they are the only developers working on a project. Most important questions in becoming web developer is how to prepare for a web developer interview. If you are aiming for web developer role and preparing for the interviews, then the most important skill which is asked most is JavaScript. JavaScript concepts and frameworks such as React, Vue, Ember, and Angular are the most in-demand skills that companies are looking for. You can expect a lot of questions from these topics. If you are preparing for JavaScript front-end developer, you have to focus on these four technologies, which are React, Vue, Angular, and Ember. For backend JavaScript developer, you need to be good at Node.js, Express.js, Deno, which is runtime for TypeScript, and different databases technologies such as SQL and NoSQL databases. For full stack development, you must have front-end skills such as React, Vue, Angular, and Ember, and back-end skills such as Node.js, Deno, Express.js, Kova, Connect, etc. Other than these skills, you must have some DevOps knowledge such as CI/CD. For CI/CD, you can use Jenkins, Bitrise, Buildkite, and other tools. Additionally, it's good to have knowledge of cloud computing such as AWS, Google Cloud, or Microsoft Azure. If you are developing static website, you can host your website on GitHub pages as well. That's all for this video. Guys, if you have any question, feedback or suggestions, please write below in the comments. Like this video if you find it useful, share with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to get notified about more interesting technical videos from Tech Talks. Thank you.